All right. Well, welcome to this special discussion of mature women ASMR creators hosted here in the study. Thank you so much for being here, where you can expect some soft discussions and all your questions answered. Creating content as women over a certain age brings a unique kind of humanity, compassion, understanding, and experience to this platform. Joining me are two ASM artists who actively share and inspire a place of peace, calm, and security in this turbulent world. I'd like to introduce our panelists. Your favorite fairy godmother and mine, ReaMoon ASMR. ReaMoon has been adding her lovely sparkle and warmth to the aether for some years now with her much-loved mom roleplay videos. And JeannieB ASMR, whose videos, after only 6 months, have become so popular. JeannieB brings charm and compassion into our lives with her relaxed, nurturing chat videos. It's a real pleasure to have you both for this meaningful discussion. And if in our audience you have not visited these channels, you'll find links in the description below, as well as a link to a digital postcard with information and extras on it. And to start our discussion, over the last few weeks, we have called upon our audiences to submit questions and comments that we will address. And in the midst of that, someone posted a remark that I find really distills what this discussion is all about. They said that it is important that women beyond the age of 40 are seen as relevant, inspiring, and beautiful, and not invisible in our society. Women in this age group have fans of all ages, which contributes to destroying the myth that they're unwanted or irrelevant in the social zeitgeist and culture. While I think that we rarely see ourselves, no matter what age, as irrelevant, we enjoy creating and sharing, this points to a broader undercurrent that it does exist. And I would like to keep this in mind as we discuss issues and answer questions surrounding video creation, influences and inspirations, challenges, and life advice. We'll start out with the most general question. When did you begin watching ASMR videos, and what moved you to start creating your own videos?
Ray, you want to go?
I started watching ASMR videos probably about 7, 8 years ago. I just went through a period of time where I couldn't sleep, and I just started, really I started on Instagram, looking on Instagram, and then which led me to YouTube. And I'm not sure why I thought I could do my own channel. I just really enjoyed watching them. And I just felt like that I could maybe help people. And so I started.
Yeah, kind of the same for me. Before I knew what ASMR was, I remember just my mind going and going at night, and listening to music wasn't the answer. I tried listening to music like classical music or just something soft, and that didn't do it. And so I Googled or searched boring lectures, because I wanted voice droning on and on. So I I looked up boring lectures, and I got a couple, and kind of one thing led to another, but I wasn't really sure it was ASMR. And then someone made some post about something ASMR, and I thought those were the initials of her kids for some reason. I just didn't link the two. And then slowly, that gap got closed, and and then watching it, I thought, I get it. But it was my grandson who inspired me to sit down and do it. He said, Baba Nini, that's my grandma name. he said, "You've got a voice. I love your voice. Other people need to hear your voice." And
You've been giving ASMR longer than you've been actually
yeah.
listening.
As a mom, I think, we tend to do that. We know how to try to soothe our kids at night and with our soft voice and, our soft talk or singing. So, yeah.
Mm.
How about you?
Yeah, I stumbled upon ASMR videos on YouTube in an odd sort of way. We were crossing the channel in our little 33-foot sailboat and left at midnight to come across from France. And it was totally dark, completely foggy, extremely windy. And there were 4 of us on the boat, 2-hour watches. And we were heeling over quite a lot. And I'd come down after just being out there in the fog, really tense and stressed, and come down below for my 2 hours off. And I'd prop my feet up against the bulkhead, and I was just on my phone looking through ASMR videos, and found it really calming because I could just switch off. And yeah, it was. I think I really like the relaxation that it reminds me of childhood quite a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I experienced ASMR for the first time in classes, at school from teachers that talked very softly and just had a quiet way about them and the way that they would move and even write on the chalkboard. So I didn't know what that was. And then when I found the community, I was just so excited.
It's funny. A lot of people have, in my 20 questions, that was one of the questions was, how did you find it? And it was same thing at school, like during reading time when they would turn the pages or have that cellophane on the outside of the book crinkle, and all of us kids are, just loving it with the right teacher. And so what I found was a lot of people who watch us, that's where they actually discovered, their first experience with ASMR is with a good teacher. Both of you had been a couple of my teachers, although higher education, you don't want your students falling asleep, but
Well, I think when you are in that relaxed state where you feel safe and comfortable, I think you can actually absorb information better.
Yes, you do because you feel safe.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
oh, I think I just would get so concentrated on, I can't keep my eyes open, like in a science class or something like that. And they're, talking about, the Krebs cycle. And it's like, I just, my brain's falling asleep. I can't do this. But, but as a young student, it was a good thing. But as an older student, boy, I needed to, for my classes to be hyper vigilant but if you got the right professor, it was like, oh,
Definitely the way that I go about making my videos and presenting myself is a lot like when I would teach a lesson, in
Mhm.
the classroom. So definitely, well, that's what my husband says all the time. He says, it's from your teaching.
It's nice that you can make people feel so safe and comfortable.
Yes. I always in my classroom, I wanted everyone to feel that way. You have kids that are so quiet and never say anything, but they need just as much attention. So I always tried to make sure that everyone felt comfortable enough to speak out, ask questions, whatever they needed to do. So I always wanted it to be a welcoming environment, and that's what I strive for in my videos. I want it to be a welcoming environment for everyone.
Yeah, we've had some really positive remarks with the questions and the responses as well. Next question is, what kinds of experiences do you hope your fans and followers take away from your videos? Which we've kind of got a little bit of already. Did you have anything specific to add to that?
The way I feel with mine is I want everyone to feel welcome. I want them to feel taken care of, and that someone's there for them, and that someone's listening, and that someone cares. I mean, when you watch, sometimes when you have things that happen to you during your day, or you watch the news, so you feel like the world's such a bad place. And then you come into the ASMR community and you realize, the world isn't such a bad place. You just have to find the right people.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to, I want it to be a safe place for everyone.
How has your ASMR progressed since you began your videos?
I think for me personally, it went more from being about the sounds and, say tapping or crinkly or whatever it was, to actually sharing as much of a positive and nurturing message as I could, because I really found that that's what people were looking for, some sort of soft place to be for 30, 40, 50 minutes. And so trying to provide that, along with a positive message, and, whether it's affirmations or just my blah, blah, blah talking, trying to create a soft virtual hug that somebody can just tune out to and feel like Ray, nurtured and loved and accepted.
I agree so much with Jeannie. It's when you first start out, you're tapping and you're doing different things, which, people like that too, but people do, you kind of see what your audience likes, and what your audience comes for. And it is, that positivity. It's nice, positive messages, just knowing that, you can do that. And we all feel that way. We all have bad days, and that sometimes, all you need is just someone to say, it's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. And that's what I look for in ASMR videos. Sometimes it's just a relaxed, nice, inviting atmosphere.
It's kind of surprising to me how everyone needs this, that it shows how little of that there is in today's culture, how people are deprived of it, and there is a real need for a place to feel safe and just to tune out all of this noise in the rest of the world.
Yeah, it just seems like right now, and maybe every era or every decade, every, period has this, but it just seems like there's a lot of sharp elbows right now, just,
Yeah.
And so to be able to just tune out and feel relaxed, comforted, and being able to just forget the crud of the day, and I don't know about you, Ray, but there have been times where people think, oh, I'm just always perfect. I just have this nice, placid, personality. And it's like I'm reminding people now, more and more, it's like, no, I have my bad days too. And just the other day, and I said this in a video, I was driving and I couldn't even listen to a happy song. I was in such a snit. The happy songs were making me madder. No, I want to, something else. What do you want, Jeannie? I don't know, and I'm talking to myself. But it's nice to have something to retreat to that does feel like a warm, soft blanket, and you can just kind of, tune out and just let all that go.
Yeah, somewhere where they say it's okay to be you.
Yeah.
You're accepted. You're accepted.
Yep, exactly.
Well, now we come to a little bit more technical questions, the creative process. How do you stay motivated to make so many videos? Have there been times when you felt that maybe you were burnt out? And if so, what was it like, and how did you get back into the groove? Ray, you've been on quite a long time. Has that ever happened to you?
I started right before COVID. I started in April of 2019. And so I was just learning. But as COVID started and went on, I did have times where I was just, it was so hard. You think that would be something you would need to do, but it was very hard to create for a couple of months because everything was just so up in the air. Everything would just seem so hard. And I had a hard time creating during that time period. But when I do it, when I come into my space where I make videos, I change. It's just everything just the daily, your daily troubles just go away. And I love making videos. And so when I make myself go in and start one during that time period, I was like, this helps me. This helps me to make these videos too. So that I did have a hard time during that time, not for long, because every day was different during that time period, and so just I didn't have a hard time for a long time. But what I do is I watch some of my favorite ASM artists, and they always make me feel better. I love when I get a notice that one of my favorite ASM artists has posted a new video. I'm
I
like,
love
yes,
that.
I do too.
Yep.
And when I read their title, I'm like, oh, this is going to be so good. I can't wait till it's night.
I haven't been doing it really long enough to say, but what, 9 months now. And the longest time I went without making a video was when we were getting my mom's house ready to sell and getting her moved out of that and moving her in here with us, which was a huge process. And, going through all her stuff and, and my grandparents' stuff, how generational clutter trickles downhill. So dealing with that took quite a while, but we did it. And so but like you, Ray, it feels good to get back in and to do it because you're giving something, but you also get back.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really amazing that you were able to do that at the same time. I mean, that's a lot to take on and still making videos.
And what about for you?
Yeah, well, when I first started, I did start during the pandemic, quite early on in the pandemic, and initially, I tried to put out a video on a regular schedule to kind of discipline my creativity, and I think that discipline for me is important, that self-discipline of I have to create something. The real world tends to impede sometimes, as it always does, and I think that's when it gets difficult, when I run out of time to do things. But I'm never short of ideas. Yeah, I've always got the squirrels going. But like you, I find it very relaxing to do it too. It helps me relax just like it does. So yeah, I think that's a big draw for me to make them. Comes to our next question. How do you get in front of the camera when you're having a bad day or when you're in a bad mood? So how do you become so comfortable and confident being on camera, and what are some tips for doing so? So Jeannie, you were mentioning you were in an awful mood the other day. How would you address getting in front of the camera?
I, first of all, am not going to chain myself to a schedule that is, do or die. There's flexibility in this. So first, I allow myself the grace to not do it today. If I'm just, if my hair is sticking straight up and I'm just in a bad mood, and it's not that often, but it's just, what, it's okay that I don't do this today. I'm going to do something else. So I allow myself that pass. As far as sitting down and, what was one of the question? There was a question within the question, feeling comfortable, I think you said.
Yeah, feeling comfortable and confident being on camera.
Yeah, I think like we spoke about before is imagining there's a friend on the other end.
Mhm.
Now, I also was a public speaker, and so I was comfortable on stage in groups, large groups. But it was different because I had to be extra on, lots of energy, lots of animation. Whereas here, I have to, tone it down, tune it down, dial it down. And so I was never afraid of somebody on the other end, whether it's a camera or an audience or this. Um, but I just allow that if my energy is going to be off, it's okay. I can put it aside, do it later. Deal Scarlett O'Hara. I'll deal with that tomorrow. I'm good at that.
I'm the same way with that. With if I'm having a bad day, and I don't really feel like I could be the person that I need to be for this video. I will do the same thing. I'll just I'll do this tomorrow. I'll film this tomorrow. But when there have been times that I have filmed, and it, like I said before, when you walk in there and you start, I just change. My troubles seem to kind of go away, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. You tune out to yourself.
Yeah, that is a good way of relaxing, because I know I've got to focus on this one thing, and the world's problems go away for that little point. There's nothing else in the world except this little world in here. And yeah, I mean, I've had good days and bad days, and if the muse isn't striking, I know it's not going to work, so I'll film on another day. But so far I've been able to keep to a schedule. I'm going 1 video a week at the moment. I did start out with 3 a week.
Oh, yeah.
But
Well, yeah.
dynamics change, but I wouldn't want to do less than 1 a week, because I think I need that kind of self-discipline from up here. Otherwise it gets crazy.
Yeah, sure.
What was it like using, this is a funny one, using newer technology when you were starting your channel, green screens, audio, etc.? Do you feel any pressure to, and I quote this question, to replicate high-tech videos produced by younger creators? I'd kind of like to start by answering this question by saying the technology is always going to be new. It's always being updated, and I mean, we watched it happen. So I think, for my part, I've always used whatever was the latest thing that came out, and I think we all have learning curves. No matter what age we are, when something new comes out, we just find out how to use it. Google, look at YouTube. Yeah, but I do ask my sons sometimes for some help.
Yeah.
And I think possibly just the amount of time you spend fiddling with it gives you a bit of an edge.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest challenge was doing a whole recording, and then I take my little chip out and come put it into my laptop, and there's a horrible buzz through the whole thing, and it's like, where did that come from? And I don't even know. So the whole thing was ruined. Or realizing something wasn't plugged in, or just little gremlins that get in there.
Yep.
Forgetting to turn off my phone or my watch or something. Little frustrations.
And those
But
happen to everybody.
yeah, that's good to hear. Because I mean, clearly on my videos, we have trouble lighting a match. It's like, God help that woman.
That was a nice sound.
Yeah, I thought that would be great. No, matches aren't for you today. So, beyond that, sometimes just turning on a light switch, I'm challenged. And then other days I feel like, okay, I conquered this. I figured something out. I discovered a new connector or a new this or a new that. And, because I feel like we're smart, we can figure things out.
Yeah.
We're not we're smart. I'm not the ditzy blonde or gray haired. But there are times I do feel challenged thinking I'll never get to some of those highfalutin fancy videos. And that's okay. That's not me. It's never going to be me. So I don't feel pressure to be like that.
Mm.
Simple is okay with me.
I did at first, when I first started, I felt like I needed to have these just beautiful, productions, because there are ASM artists that do that. They're just gorgeous. And as I went along and I learned how to do things, and I know what I liked as a watcher of ASMR. That's what so I relaxed about it. I'm like, this is what I like to watch. This is what I like. What do they say? Lo-fi.
Lo-fi.
Yeah. I like videos like that. So, it made me feel better, and I don't feel, because it's not who I am, to do these beautiful giant productions. I do the best I can with what I have.
That's why we tune into you.
Well, thank you. I also feel very lucky because my husband is a programmer. And so when I have a question, he almost always knows the answer, or he knows someone who can help me.
Oh, that's nice.
I think some of the best videos, the best ASMR videos, are the simple ones, the ones where that's very laid back and comfortable.
Yeah, I do too. I agree.
Yeah.
What are your favorite kinds of videos to make, and do you have a favorite one that you've created?
I like doing the mom does your makeup videos. It's
Those
just
are my
fun.
favorite of yours as well.
It's
Yeah, I want to
fun.
put my mug up there. It's like, okay, go ahead, do me.
Those are just fun, and they're just so relaxing to do. And I have so much fun just thinking about what we're going to talk about. And so, that's a lot of fun to me. So those are my favorite. I don't have a favorite one. I watch my videos to make sure that they've been edited fine, everything's okay, and I don't watch them again.
Me neither. I never look at mine again unless
No.
somebody says something like one comment or one series of comments. I kept hearing bless you, bless you. And I thought, oh my gosh, I left in like my sneezes because I forgot to edit them out. And so I had to go back and look at that, but I don't watch mine either.
It's hard to watch
It
yourself.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh gosh. But and I think one of the favorite ones I did was the 20 questions. Um, and the favorite kind are where I share something and it's very unscripted. I just might remember something from my childhood. When I was a little girl, my dad did this, or when I was a little girl, this happened. And I think those off the cuff little stories people really tie into and enjoy, little glimpses of my world back in the day. And, because I get a lot of, oh, tell us more, tell us more, tell us more. And it was just a little, blah, 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 talking while I'm doing something. But so I think I really like the unscripted, just talking and sharing, because that's what
It's
I
deeply ingrained in the
easy.
human psyche, the need for that sharing, the personal
Yeah.
stories and in the past. And
Yeah. How about for you? Do you have a favorite one?
it's hard because I really enjoy all the videos I make. I love doing writing. I've done a lot of Latin ones. They tend to get a lot of views. I don't like to do predominantly Latin ones, but I'll always throw one in because I know people enjoy them. I don't know why they enjoy them. But I love bringing in literature, pieces of literature that are not mainstream, medieval, classical, and then tying it into something more modern. I love doing that.
Mm.
Mm.
And you do it well.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I love your Latin videos too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I recently did one with some vodka in it.
And I love that one too. That was fun. It reminds me when I watch your Latin videos, it reminds me of my daughter when
Oh,
she was
okay.
in 8th, 9th grade when she was translating. So it's just fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of people find it relaxing too. So, yeah, those are great. The next question came for Ray, but Jeannie, feel free to answer as well. I would love to hear from you something about the fascinating world of objects that you put into your videos.
When I find something that's interesting, I think this will be really nice to share. And most of the time it's things that I have collected or I have or that that means something to me. And other times it's not. It's just things that I've been out and I find, oh, this would be so much fun to put in a video. And it's just one of my videos was the Polly Pocket. Do you guys know what Polly Pocket is? When my daughter was little, she had these Polly Pocket houses, and I still have them.
Yes.
And I would not ever get rid of them, but I'm saving for her. She says she doesn't want them, but one day I'm sure she's going to want them. So I still have them, and I shared them in a video, and that was a very popular video. People loved seeing the Polly Pocket houses, and all I did was just show it and talk about them. But it brings back things that people did in their childhood, and so I love things like that. Just takes you back down memory lane, or just gives you good feelings. And that's the kind of things that I put in that I try to find to put in my videos, things that people would just be interested in, and maybe that they have like a tie to, oh yeah, I remember that, I did that. So that's what I
Some of
love.
your things have stories behind them too, don't they?
Yes, yes, and I always share the stories, and most of my stories that I are true. Even in my Mom Does Your Makeup videos, most of those are true. I may embellish them a little bit to be a little more exciting, but they're things that have happened.
Yeah, I remember Jeannie telling about you just had some tissue paper and you were telling about something that happened with the tissue paper, a potential
Oh,
fire hazard.
yeah. We have, maybe there's a higher reason why I shouldn't be lighting matches, but we've had lost one house in a fire,
Oh my goodness.
had a couple of other house fires. We just had a fire last week, before the rains came. Long story, but anyway, I thought I'd create a lot of ambiance around the house with candles, and at Christmas time, and we were opening things and tissue paper
Oh
caught,
my
and
goodness.
one of our guests from Germany went at it and put it out, and she got second-degree burns all over her hands, but the tissue paper was just taking off with, I mean, it's very flammable. So that was and I'm talking about this as I've got candles and tissue paper in front of me, and what could go
Be
wrong?
careful.
Right. ASMR fires.
Well, I just lost my mom a few years ago, about just before the pandemic, and I had packed up all of her house, and I've been going through all her things, and once in a while I find something, I thought, oh, this will be great in a video. And some of the times I've not seen these things before, or don't know anything about them, and it's quite interesting to just open it up on a video and say, oh, look at this thing, whatever this is.
Yeah, that is. And that's where I actually got a lot of content too, was from cleaning out my mom's garage from all the things from my dad's parents and grandparents, and really old stuff that was super cool,
Oh,
and
that's a
just
treasure
lends
trove.
itself to sharing.
Mhm.
Yes. And it just lends itself to sharing,
Mhm.
in a community like ours.
It makes it very personal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like sharing like that with people. Here's a good one. In 1 year's time, how will you know that choosing to continue to create ASMR content was the right choice for you?
Yeah, a lot of depth to that one. I think for me, just hearing the people say thank you, I needed that today. Today sucked,
Yeah.
and listening to you helped. And so if I could just be a little band-aid,
Mhm.
a little bit of an emotional band-aid on someone's day, then I know I'm doing the right thing.
And I think also along with that is that, if you're still having fun, if you're
Yeah.
still having fun doing this, and enjoying it, that's to me, that's everything.
Yeah.
If I'm not having fun, if I'm not getting something out of it, then I know I'm not doing it for the right reasons.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's the comments. If I know I've had a positive effect on someone, it really means the world, because that's part of the reason I started. I wanted to contribute something positive, and knowing that's working, that's
Yeah.
everything. And Jeannie, this one is for you specifically. When you're creating content, do you feel you're in your motherly role? Do you think your variety of experiences adds to more fulfilling and authentic content? This is quite a big question. And does ASMR have a link between people seeking life advice and feeling comfort and compassion?
Well, to start back answering those backwards, I think, particularly with us, we do have a lot of life events that we can draw upon to offer others. Mainly, most of what you're going through is going to pass and you're going to be just fine. People, I think, need to hear that message. So, yes, that has been my mothering role in real life. If somebody comes home from school with a broken heart,
Mm.
you feel like you're going to die, but you're going to survive this. Time will heal that. Or, an injury, time will heal that as well. And my kids have had lots of injuries. At one point, I think 3 of them were in casts at the same time, not due to fires either. So it's like, okay, this will pass. This will pass. And so when I'm talking as if I'm talking to everyone, it's like, it's going to be okay, and that is a mothering, nurturing role. Um, you are okay as you are, you're accepted, like Ray says. And, and with time, most things do get better. That's what I've found, and that's what I draw upon. And I
Mm.
hope to convey to people that this work situation, this relationship situation, this heartbroken situation, most of those will transition to something better that you can draw upon for your own experience. Severe health issues, there's, if I can just make you feel better for 5 minutes or 35 minutes, then, I know that I've done something, you know. But I think, yes, it's, definitely tuning and tapping into my mothering role, you know, and and nobody answers back like the kids would. But wait, there's something you don't know. And so I don't get any uh, discussion back. So, and I think people appreciate that. Just hearing it's going to be okay.
I do too.
And I think
Everything.
that
I'm a very motherly person, so I just and being a teacher, an elementary school teacher, you're just their mother all day long. I mean, with your class, you really are. And so that comes very natural for me. So I know I think all of my videos are, I'm a mother.
Very nurturing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think our age, this point in life is put us in a unique position to give that to people because we have more life experience. We've seen things come and go. We know how bad things will pass,
Yeah.
and how good it is to have someone there just holding your hand or saying it'll be all right. And like people experiencing life for the first time in these things, it can be very difficult, and we know that because we've been there.
Right.
But by the same token, we look up to people that are older than we are because they've been through things.
Mm-hmm. 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 Absolutely. I recently found my diary
Oh my
from when
goodness.
I was 15, 16. Yeah. And I look back at what I thought was, a complete tragedy and just, just a Romeo and Juliet moment. And I look at it now and I laugh. So, the older Jeannie looking back, it's like, oh, girl, grow up, or it's gonna be okay. Thank God, that guy didn't like you. And so yeah, it's the scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10. And and that's okay
Yeah.
because you know, you learn how to better qualify those things, those life experiences as those things happen.
But also the things happening in the world as well that are so disturbing. How
Yeah.
do you get through that? How do you process that? And you have that nurturing presence for people to say, yep, this person's been there, done that, and they say it's going to be all right.
Yeah. Even if it's just for the hour they're hearing us or half an hour, whatever it is, for that moment in time, I'm helping someone. I'm someone's balm. I'm someone's salve, and
It makes a
that's
difference.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can't fix everything. And I'm a fixer. I try to. I want to take a situation and tell you what to do and tell you how to fix it and just do what I say. It will be okay. And that's clearly not, my, I can't do that. So the balm I can provide is enough.
Well, now we've got some personal influences and challenges that people are asking about. How and when did you discover ASMR? We've kind of been through that. Has it helped you? But do you think it is age specific? Is ASMR age specific?
Well, I think we're all looking for that ability to tune out. I think we all like that escapism and where we feel comforted, where, somebody is just, making us feel, that calm, wonderful energy. And I think that transcends age, but also too, when someone looks at us and says, wow, that's a mom figure, or a grandma figure. And, both mantles I wear very proudly. That's something I can offer that a 20-year-old can't offer. She may be younger and prettier and, all that, and that's fine. And somebody will want that. But I think with regard to the nurturing of an older female figure, kind of, enveloping you and saying you're going to be okay is something, it's almost an edge that we have.
Yeah, about you, Ray?
I agree. She said that so well. I don't know if I can add anything to that.
I'm not sure if they were asking if we experience ASMR differently when we're older or if we're able to give it. I'm not sure there, but I would say that it's for experiencing ASMR. I wouldn't think there's any age limit there.
No.
Like when I watch your videos, Ray, I mean, it's just, I melt, and I want it to be me, you know, and I don't, that doesn't matter if I'm in my 20s or 60s.
Right.
There's those Ecuadorian, I think it's called Ecuador Live, these Chilean, I think they are, women giving those massages and
I love
spiritual energy.
those.
Oh my gosh, I want to get on a plane and fly down there and, you know, do me, hit me with your plants, you know. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just, you know, I just imagine, you know, being on the receiving end of that. And I don't think that will ever stop, whether I'm, you know, this age or in 20 years from now. I want to feel that. I want to feel nurtured.
Yeah, I think we all need that.
Yes.
And I think making the videos is almost as good as being on the receiving end and watching the videos. It's all related. This one, I know we've all mentioned watching ASMR videos, and I'm a little bit I didn't want to name anybody because I don't want to miss anybody. If I started naming one channel, I would probably miss out 100 other ones because there are so many great creators out there. Who do you listen to unwind with? Do you have a favorite kind of ASMR to watch? What are your favorite triggers?
I love hairbrushing,
Mhm.
hairbrushing videos, and that's I watch those. I also like hand movements, you know, and then I just like people that are just doing role plays. I love role plays. So but hairbrushing, if I want to fall asleep, I will go to a hairbrushing video always.
And I think for me, you know, from when I first started, you know, the boring lecture kind of thing, I like voice. I like a lot of blah blah yammering on and on and on and on because I'm looking to tune out. And when something's interesting, you know, it's like I have to kind of open my, what are they talking about? And and so for me, hand movements, if there isn't voice behind it, doesn't mean anything because my eyes are closed. You know, it's at night in my bed with one ear pod on, you know, here's my face on the pillow and then the ear pods, and then I swap them out, you know. And so, and I'll tell you, the French whisperer, just, I get maybe 6.5 minutes. Vincent,
He has such a
I'm out.
purring voice, doesn't he?
I'm out
Mhm.
like a light. If I really want to go to sleep, he's the one. And it's too bad because the content is great. And so I feel like with each time I, you know, listen, I get a little bit more of, you know, his history lesson or whatever that is. Yeah, he's my go-to.
Yeah, I really enjoy the role plays as well as Ray, because I think it just takes you out of the everyday and you can just be whatever it is that's in the video. I find that really nice. But also, I like the simple ones. There's a man from Quebec that I've watched for years, Conte de Légende, and he just takes little objects and just goes through them. It's just his hands on the screen, turning pages of books or unpacking this bag of toys that came from a secondhand shop. And he's a grandfather. He's, you know, our age or older, and he just enjoys making the videos, and it really comes through in his video. But he's just so calm and kind and slow, and it's so relaxing listening to him just talk about these little things. He could talk about one little thing for ages.
Oh, I love that.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think people actually leave bundles of you know, old toys or books or things on his doorstep for him to put
Oh,
in
neat.
videos. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do your friends or family think that you doing ASMR is weird or odd? Or are you worried about that at all?
Okay, so this is interesting. My family doesn't know yet. my husband does, and my mom kind of knows. Um, and she lives here in the house. Um, so, and my grandson, of course. And so my goal was to do a video as a reveal to tell all the kids at the same time, like when I hit 100,000. That was kind of my goal. But so I just created an Instagram page. And one of the questions when you're creating it is, do you want to let people know that you're on Instagram? And I hit no. So, like, I guess it's all phone number related. So you don't get this thing that, hey, your friend on this is on Instagram, because I just didn't want it out of the bag yet. And so, anyway, the other night, I saw one of our daughters is following me on my Instagram page. So I thought, okay, the time's coming. It's going to get out. So she'll probably see this at some point. So I blocked her from seeing all my stories. I've never blocked anybody.
Oh, no.
And it's like, I hope she doesn't know I've blocked her. And so I think what I'm going to do, since most of the kids will be here for Christmas, I'm going to do my reveal. Just wherever I am, and just kind of get it out. Come out of the room. And so I don't know if they'll think I'm odd. So far, my husband and my grandson do not think I'm odd for that, but not for ASMR videos. How about you, Ray?
My family knows, my immediate family, my husband and my children and my grandchildren, they all knew when I started, but my brothers and sisters didn't, or my nieces and nephews. I didn't tell my mom. I wasn't sure she would even understand, but she's so cute. She watches ASMR now, and she said, I think this person is copying you. And I got so tickled because I said, a lot of ASM artists they do kind of the same things. It's okay, no one's copying me. But no, I don't. I think my husband is so sweet. He's very proud. He tells people, and I don't want him to tell people. And he'll tell people what I do. My brother's very, very supportive, so I didn't want to tell people either. So I think you'd be surprised, people enjoy it, and they don't think it's weird, but it's part of our lives. So I can see where people that it wasn't part of their life would think, well, this is different.
Well, I think like Ray said, ASMR has always been there. It's just the actual label that's been put on it in the last 10 or 15 years, the ASMR. And I think having it on YouTube, I was a little bit reluctant to let my family know I was doing it, but eventually, of course, I did. And I don't think my husband or sons really care. I don't think they watch ASMR at all. But they're not unsupportive at all. They're very enthusiastic about my making videos. If you're worried about any kind of negative reactions, I haven't seen that they're there. I've not encountered them at all.
They're going to be proud of you, Jeannie.
Yeah, it'll be quite a good reveal.
I just can't believe that this one daughter. And so I called her. Yes, it was yesterday morning. And as she was driving to work, hey, how you doing, honey? What's going on? And I fully expected she'd say, I saw your Instagram page. You have links to a YouTube thing. What? Nope. So I think she saw and just thought, oh, mom's on Instagram, friend her or whatever you call it.
Oh, so she hasn't actually looked at it.
No, and now I've blocked her, so she can't. And so she may wonder what the heck is going on. So she's the one who's come the closest to finding out. Although it was over Thanksgiving, I got some message on my phone. You know how you get the pop-ups on your phone?
Mm-hmm.
And another daughter was there, and she goes, oh, you've got a YouTube message. It's like, oh, get my phone. I can't leave my phone out now. Normally I don't care who looks at my phone for any reason. It's like, oh. So yeah. So it'll be interesting to see their reaction. And especially my grandson, who will be there because he's the one who prompted me to do
Are you
this.
going to make a special video to show them for
Yes.
your reveal?
I'm going to have them sit down, and it's going to be my intro. Hello, kids. Instead of saying it's Jeannie, it's Mom. I have to tell you. And, I don't know how I'll do that. Something creative will come to me. So
The muse will strike.
the muse will strike. Usually while I'm in the shower, I get the aha. So water therapy, hydrotherapy makes me super creative.
Well, it's relaxing when your brain's relaxed. Good things happen.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Exactly.
I can't wait to hear about how they react. You have to make sure you tell us.
We've got an interesting question. How has ASMR changed over the years from your perspective?
I've seen it change, just in my opinion.
Mhm.
I've seen it change just from when I've started. At first, when they called them whisperers, they would
Mhm.
whisper, on YouTube, and they didn't show their faces or anything. They would just whisper. But when I started, there wasn't a lot of like fast and aggressive, which has become very popular, the fast and aggressive ASMR. And I also think that TikTok and YouTube, the shorts, everything has changed ASMR that way too. I think it's bringing in younger people,
Mhm.
Even though YouTube is typically younger, but I mean like very younger people, because
Right.
they watch the shorts and things like that. So I think at first it was probably a lot of unintentional
Mhm.
ASMR. People would put things up and people would find that very that's relaxing. Well, like Bob Ross.
Yeah.
He's considered the king of ASMR. And he didn't even know. So,
It's funny. I've been called Bob Ross a lot. You are just like Bob Ross.
that's a very good thing.
And, when I get teenagers, somebody will say, I'm only 17, but my grandmother passed away last year, and you remind me of her and you make me think of her. And, so I love that there is that younger generation. And then I got a comment from a guy. He says, I have no idea how I clicked on your video. But he said, I was like 5 seconds in, and I was, mind numb. And so it's like, okay, good. Well, welcome here, and you're welcome
Mission
back. And
accomplished.
yeah. Yeah. So he was just like, like some motorcycle guy. And it's like, how did I end up on this old lady's channel?
I think that's part of the draw of creating is getting people from all different places and backgrounds to
Yes.
come in. It's
I'm really glad you mentioned that, because I have really connected with people, and you probably too, Ray, and you, Stephanie, all over the world: Brazil, Chile, South Africa, Egypt, Russia, Poland, Australia, and Canada, and of course various states. But to hear somebody say, gosh, I really connect to you, and they're in Egypt, it's oh, that's just so amazing. And it does help make this world a little smaller. People are good. Governments might be cruddy, but people are good people.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that. And, I really love the ability to just shrink the planet a little bit.
It's connecting to someone on a personal level, connecting to
Yeah.
your audience. And
Yeah.
I think it's also, like we mentioned before, it's showing the world that it's okay to be gentle and soft,
Mhm.
because people need that. We need to
Mhm.
be gentle with each other sometimes.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've got a good one here. I love the broad range of topics you cover. How many books do you have? Well,
And my answer, remember, is if you can
yes.
know how many books you have, you need more books.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I couldn't add anything better to that.
Yeah,
What up there.
I'm
And I've read
a
every one, I must add, and they're my friends.
Yeah, you know, like the library, you know, everything in a bag for $5. It's like, you know, I can fit one more book in there. Yeah, we
Oh,
have
the
lots of,
used bookshops are just
ah,
magic.
and the smells, oh, they're wonderful.
Oh, yes.
Uh, so I couldn't begin to count. I have no idea how many books I have. I can't let go of them. So
Mhm. Yeah, impossible. Um, Ray, this one's for you. Which do you prefer, making ASMR videos or teaching?
You know, making ASMR videos is kind of taking the place of teaching to me, um, because I did quit teaching once before, for about 2 years, and I missed it so bad. You know, I had to go back into teaching. So doing ASMR videos, I found that I don't miss teaching. You know, you always miss children, and but I still have so many teacher friends. You know, so I still hear about the things that go on, and you know, schools are so funny. You have so much fun with the children. So you know, making the ASMR videos is wonderful to me. I would never have even dreamed about, you know, doing this. So I think it's so neat and so cool that I get to do that. Every day I wake up, I'm like, I get to make a video. And I enjoy that.
I love that you don't encourage debates on politics. As a young person, I feel inundated with politics, controversy, and news through social media. So your channel is truly a haven away from all that. And I think we've pretty much touched on how
yeah, it
things,
just, people can turn on the news and find what they, you know, you can find negative and you can find your side in the world. It's nice to be able to come and find softness and an escape from that. And it
Yes.
doesn't, you know, irrespective of sideness or, you know,
yeah,
political view or religious views or anything like that. Won't even it's just not tolerated at all. You know, just this isn't the forum.
yeah, it's not going to be
100%.
relaxing. I'm not going to put
No,
it on.
no. And no, and what will our debate do? You know, it won't do
Yeah.
anything. It won't solve anything. And um, you know, I had one experience with a guy. I think when I posted something about the Queen, you know, the passing of the Queen, and it was a heartfelt. You know, I loved her. I thought, you know, she was wonderful. And somebody started kind of citing some things, and it's like, you know what? And I thought, I can hit, you know, delete X, go to your room, you're done, you know, or I can just use this as a let's let's keep things friendly. And that's how I addressed it. I said, how about we don't debate that here, friend? And he wrote back and he said, absolutely, thank you. And so it's like, you know, you can feel how you feel, and I'm not here to invalidate that.
Mm.
And it's also not the forum for it. So
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
like, you know, just calling somebody friend helps disarm a situation. I think too, if I address you as friend,
Yeah.
you know, it helps. And I think it, like I said, it disarms it, and we can just, let's move on. Let's put that baggage outside the door. But when you come in here, you know, we're all fine. We're all good. We're all accepted, just like on your channel, right? You know, safe space.
Yeah. And we come to our last section now, thoughts about life and advice. Another one for you, Jeannie. I'd love to hear how you've navigated aging with grace, as well as your beauty, wellness, exercise, and spirituality practices.
Wow.
That's a big one.
We have about 6 more hours, right?
Yeah.
Exercise, not a lot. Get that one right off the board. You
Well, how
know,
about just aging with grace?
you know what I think a lot of that, I think the key for me is just being able to laugh at myself.
Mhm.
And, you know, it just is what it is. I am what I am. there are days I can't light a match, and I'm okay with that. And I can laugh at it and, laugh at my foibles, and I don't have to try to look or be or act 25 anymore.
Mhm.
It ain't gonna happen. And so it's like, all right, so here's who I am, and here is what I bring to the table, and that's good enough, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's necessarily graceful, but and as far as spirituality, I'm pretty broad-minded there.
Mm.
I was, born and raised Catholic, but that's one small piece of the pie, I think, and there's a huge pie. And so I think from everything from Seth Speaks to, just a lot of new thought. I've really been into Neville, what's his last name? Neville Goddard, and from the 60s. And that's pretty mind opening to, Hermetic philosophies. And so it's very broad.
How about you, Ray?
I'm proud of my age. It's when I first started getting older, it's you feel sometimes because you see it in the way that you're treated.
Yeah.
You feel invisible
Mm.
sometimes, and I did feel that way sometimes when I first started, but I don't let people make me feel that way, because that's I'm not invisible, and I do have something to offer. And so I don't know, with age, I've had friends that haven't lived to be as old as me, and so I feel I have a really good friend who died from breast cancer. And so and she was older than me, but when I got her age, I felt like I'm privileged to be the age that I am, because some people don't get to live that long and don't get to experience life. And I mean, being able to have an ASMR channel and do things like that is just, very exciting to me. So I don't know if that's aging gracefully or anything like that. I can see now, Jeannie, I can see you aging gracefully.
You should just watch me walk down the hall. I mean, there's nothing graceful. I hit the wall and I turn and yell at the wall, stupid wall. So I don't know. We don't see that on the videos I make. The times I hurt myself, bang. And so I'm quite, klutzy, and that's okay. It's okay. And I think the grace of it is just accepting who you
Yeah.
are.
Yes.
I am who I am. And I've stopped trying to be anything else because I can't be, and I do a poor job of it. So the more I think the age has, taught us is we're okay as we are, and that's just that. And
Yeah.
if it's not
Being
with
comfortable
you,
in your
then
own skin.
yeah, it just is. I am what I am, and I ain't what I ain't, and that's just that. And
Mm.
so if you do want to be on my channel and listen to me, that I think that's what comes through. I think that's what people connect with.
Mm.
When you feel okay with who you are, I think you can convey that, and people feel okay with who they are for a brief time, perhaps.
Yeah.
So
It takes some of us, like me, too long to learn that.
most of us, I think, it takes us a good several decades. I wouldn't want to be in my 30s again.
No.
20s, heaven forbid. So, no, I like this age. I really do.
Yeah.
Minus the joint pain, and but
Well, all of that means that you had a really fun youth.
yeah.
I mean, we've all done things we regret and our bodies pay for that, but it was very fun doing it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ray, this one's from your channel. Have you always been so warm and soft and positive? You seem to radiate a caring and beautiful energy that isn't matched by any other ASM artist I've watched. Curious if this partly comes from motherhood or if this is just how you've always been. I thought I'd leave that one in there because it's so sweet.
That is very sweet. You know, it's like Jeannie said, you know, I have bad days. You know, I may run into the wall and fuss at the wall, but I always have tried to treat people the way I want to be treated. And so that's the way I try to live my days is I don't if I don't want to be treated bad, I don't treat people bad. So I always try to treat people the way I want to be treated. And I that's just what I strive for, is just to be nice to everyone, because it's so important. Especially, I feel like especially the last couple of years, we really need to be kind with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
kindness
know,
is it, isn't it? It's what it's
Yeah.
missing in the world, in our
so
day-to-day.
true. In one of my videos, I made a comment, and when I was editing my video, it hit me as so profound. You know, it's like, wow, that came out of my mouth. That I've never regretted being kind. I can't think of a time I've regretted being kind to someone, whereas I have regretted snapping
Yeah.
or, you know, rising to anger, you know, and being snippy. I almost always regretted that, you know.
Yes.
So, wow, what a lesson.
Civility costs you nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
And we've got some more age-related questions. They're a bit involved. Can you talk about the differences between youth in your age versus the youth of today, and advice for the younger generation? Is there anything about today's society that you wish you had had in your youth?
Well, I would start off by saying we didn't have social media. So the things and the shenanigans we got up to weren't posted anywhere. You know, it was just gossip. Um, and interestingly enough, on a Friday or a Saturday night, everybody found each other without cell phones or pagers or anything. You managed to hook up and find your group of friends somehow, you know.
Mhm.
So I think with social media and phones and technology, there's a big disconnect and this false, you know, I need to be this because look, she's so pretty, you know, she, look at her big, beautiful lips, or look at her, you know, perfect figure, or, you know, the falsehood of social media. We didn't have, we had 17 magazine as our, you know, kind of a thing to look at. Um, so I kind of hold that precious that we didn't have all that. And it's sad to see what some youth, and like, and because I've gone to football games at my grandson's school, and you see everybody, you know, like this, and you know what so and so's doing, and it's just this constant barrage of almost falsehoods. You know, it's not reality. And so I think it cuts them off from just being in the now of experiencing life.
Yeah.
And
Just
I
engaging with what's in front of them.
exactly, it's all on here. It's all on here. And, you know, that I find a little tragic.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I thank God we didn't have social media in my youth.
Yeah.
Or
Thank God.
college. In college, when you know, cell phones and everyone taking pictures and videos. I was telling my friend the other day, thank goodness we didn't have cell phones that took pictures or anything. when
Oh
we
yeah.
were in college.
And I think that puts a lot of pressure on young people.
Mhm.
It's having that constantly around them. And that's something I miss, is that just the speed of everything was much slower. You had to
Yeah.
actually write a letter and take the time to compose your thoughts and put it in the mail, send it, wait for someone to receive it, and wait for the reply to happen. We had lots of time to think and turn things over in our minds, and just the speed of that, I miss that.
Yeah, yeah.
It changed the way we engage with the world and with each other.
I remember going out on like a weekend summer day in my teens, and just going out and sitting on the porch and just wondering what the day was going to bring, what my friends were doing, and just like this big unknown. And it was a really cool blank slate that was there for me to write about my life, to participate in life. And then you make a phone call, hey, what are you doing, Beth? Or what are you doing? And let's meet. And then, that had its own snowball effect. But it was just this waking up with a blank slate, not being barraged by who did what last night.
Yes.
On social media anyway. So
the day was yours to make.
Yeah, just a simpler time. That was really nice. Yeah.
Anything you miss, Ray?
Well, I do have like advice that I would, if I had to give advice to younger people, is just take a deep breath when you're, when you think something is so important in it to you and that it's so terrible, take a deep breath. It will be okay. That's what I always tell my kids. You know what? This will pass. This will pass, and just, it's okay. Everything will be okay. And that's because we get so upset about things in our lives, and sometimes more than we need to be. You know what they say, when you get married, don't ever go to sleep angry. But, and when I was so young with my husband, I would always say, we can't go to bed. We're mad at each other.
Stay up and fight.
Sometimes you be quiet. I'm done already. I'm 8:30. I'm out. I don't care if we're mad or not.
Sometimes it's better to go to sleep because you wake up the next morning, you're like, that was silly, Give yourself time to think of things, to separate yourself from the situation and think about it.
That's true. And the more tired I am, the more likely I'm going to say something I regret.
Yes, so me too.
Just let me fall asleep and, yeah. Shut up, Jeannie. Yeah.
That's excellent advice, right? Couldn't add anything to that. Were you always ambitious with hobbies, or did that come later in your life? Well,
I always, when I tend to be 110%er. So if I took something on, I did it. I bought every tool to it. So I learned it. I did it. Sewing and, making clothes for the girls, you don't make them for boys. It just, they ripped them up anyway. Horses. It's like, I didn't just get a horse and ride a little. I got into dressage and showing and breeding and, so for me, when I took something on skydiving, I used to, it's like, oh, I can't just go on one jump. I have to do this every weekend now. So I'm kind of a, and then when I'm done, I'm done. That's it. I did it. I'm done. So.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely a don't do it by halves type either. And in that respect, I definitely haven't aged gracefully. I'm still surfing and sailing and, bird watching. I mean, you name it. I'll do it if it looks fun. Once I get into something, I'm really passionate about it and very intense, and I want to know everything about it and how far can I go with this? And
Well, that's good, and that is aging gracefully because you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
I agree. To just, and I used to love to knit, but to just do nothing but knit because you think you're a certain age, it's like, you still miss out. There are things I can't do on horseback anymore because I've just had way too many accidents, but, and now I do just do gentle riding. but I'm glad I did what I did, and I had the experiences of, just going whole hog on something. And I don't know, I think that's probably an American colloquialism, going whole hog.
I love it.
you know um so yeah, and I'm lucky that my husband supports my forays into projects and hobbies and things like that. So here we
Yeah,
go
I think
again.
it's important for well-rounded people, and I think advice I would give any young person interested in hobbies is be curious, try everything. If you think you're interested in something, just do it. Don't wait. Do it now.
Mhm.
And it might
Yeah,
become something that you really enjoy for the rest of your life. You'll meet other people and develop skills you never thought you could develop.
yeah,
So
yeah.
true.
There's a lot of fun to be had out there in this
Mhm.
world. And so for sure.
What have you done, Ray?
I can't think of anything right now, y'all. You're gonna have to forgive me. I'm just sitting here
I
going,
bet there's
"What? I
something.
like to read."
I mean, that's pretty good. That's one of my favorite hobbies.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm sorry.
It'll come to you 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
you know
So we've talked about age quite a bit, and this next question touches on not only age, but what does it mean to be an older woman in the ASMR world? And do you think there's a stigma around being an older woman creator? I do know there are a lot of older men creators out there, but
What, Ray?
I said, "Do you want to take this one
yeah.
first?"
Well, I mean, I haven't been faced with any doors,
Mhm.
any virtual door slamming in my face. I think in my opinion, it's worked kind of in reverse. People see the older, wiser woman, and they feel safe with me.
Mhm.
But I think it's real clear too. I'm not there to be sexy. I'm not there to be provocative. I'm not going to compete with somebody doing, provocative things. I'm just not. If it's just it's I want you to feel good. Um, but I want you to feel comforted good,
Yeah.
in a good nurturing way. And I think age, I think people, as soon as they tune into me, know that. It's real clear, I think.
Well, I think ASMR is about relaxation and calm and not arousal, which is a separate
Right.
kettle of fish.
I've seen some young ASMR things that's, it's like, okay, that I'm confused,
Yeah.
what was that? But, you know, uh, but as far as the stigma of it, you know, and just having a YouTube channel, it's something I don't think anybody's ever said, hey, older gals, here's something you might want to consider, if you have a gift of gab or can, move your hands and make some sounds, it's just not something, we hear about. And I'm hoping what we've done here,
Mhm.
because I've gotten lots of emails and messages, and I'm sure you guys have too. Wow, that's something I've wanted to do, and I've been holding off for years now. It's like, sit down and do it,
Yeah,
just do it.
definitely. I've seen, with being an older person in the ASMR community, I was really worried about that when I first started. I thought people are going to think I'm too old, and when I first started, I did get comments like that, just like the kids thinking they're being funny, saying, who let their grandma get up, start a YouTube channel, things like that. But I think now that I see it as being more accepted now, just because people have been so sweet and so nice to me in the community. I mean, just very, very sweet. So I think it's more accepted now. I think there's more. I think like Jeannie said, someone wanted to do it for a long time. I think that more people there will be older women on YouTube,
I hope so.
future.
Yeah. And I've seen some starting and doing it, and it's like, yes, you go, girl, just do it. Just keep doing it. Don't stop. Don't let numbers stop you. Don't let, just you keep doing it. Just keep doing it, and do what makes you happy, because that's where you connect, having that authenticity. And I think that's what people tune in to in someone, even if it's a role play. There's something that is authentic, and that's coming through, like with yours, Ray, when it's like, I want to be on the receiving end of that. And so what you do, while it might just be a doll head or something, it comes through as really authentic. And, and that's the appeal. So your age has nothing to do with it. In my view, it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I want to be your doll head. If I come out there, will you? Little plastic brushes.
Yeah, I want to be your Barbie.
I want to be the Barbie.
Dress me up.
Yeah.
And that is, I think some of the appeal for me is just feeling that safety and warmth from when I was a child.
Yeah.
Do you remember putting clothes on your doll and just brushing her hair? And that was such a relaxing thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And our last question, has creating videos, particularly ASMR ones, changed anything about how you view the world or your mindset? What have you learned about yourself? And is there anything that you know now through your ASMR journey that you could go back, or you would go back and tell your younger self?
What
I think
stocks to buy? I always say, yeah, go buy tech stocks. No. Yeah, I think it's just a a confidence thing that, it's okay to be kind, and it's okay to give kindness. It's okay. Softness is okay. Nurturing and nurturing and feeling nurtured are good things. And I think with more of it in the world, certain people, it's like, some of the leaders in our country and other countries, I think they need nurturing. We need to, somebody needs to do some ASMR on some of them, and maybe that would help this world. It's just so, people lacking softness.
Yeah.
I forgot the question.
It was quite a long one. Yeah. Have you learned anything about yourself? And has it changed your view, how you view the world? And
I touched on it a little bit before. It makes, like we talked about, how it makes the world smaller. Someone in Turkey's watching a video that we did, and someone, across the world, and they feel the same way. It shows that we all want the same thing. We all want to be accepted. We all want kindness. We all want to belong, and we all want to be calm.
yeah.
But that's what really strikes me with the ASMR community, is that it's people from all over the world. So to me, it has made the world a much smaller place, because I think that I have learned so much about other countries just visiting, talking with people in the comments and things like that. It's so interesting to me. And I think it's much needed, and the one thing I would tell my younger self was what ASMR is. I'm just kidding. But when I was in the classroom and would feel so relaxed, I had a sixth grade teacher that would read to us every day before we would go outside and play right before lunch, and then we'd come in, and to calm us down, she would turn the lights out and she would read a book. And I looked forward to that part of my day every day. That's why I went to school, was for her to read to us, and it was just a few minutes before we went to lunch, and she was probably doing it more to get us calmed down so we would be quiet walking to the lunchroom, because she got the class that had to go out to recess before lunch.
Well, that was a smart thing for her to do.
Yes, she was a smart teacher.
Yeah.
And that was ASMR right there with her. It was wonderful.
Without knowing it,
Yeah.
just something intuitively, she tapped into.
Mhm.
So,
well, I've enjoyed just being able to connect to people all over the world on a more personal level. It doesn't matter. I didn't even want to know what their political leaning is, what is going on in their country, what outside things are happening. They're still a really good person on the inside, and somehow connecting through these videos brings that out in everybody. I love to see it bringing out the good in people.
yeah.
And I hope to see a lot more of that in the world.
Yeah.
We all want the same thing. We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if we can encourage more people, more older gals like us, and guys too, I think if we saw more faces like ours, and age groups like ours, nurturing our younger society, particularly, it has an impact, that carries forward. If somebody takes this gentleness out into their day and they're just this much kinder, or this much more relaxed, or, this much more chill, what does that do? What ripple effect, the butterfly effect can that have, just from, so that's a big responsibility in a sense for what we say and how we say it and what we do. I think it really, it has weight and impact.
Definitely. And I think that's one of the best things about doing ASMR videos.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. It's an absolute privilege to be here with you on this panel. And we'll say goodbye to our audience now.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting this together. So. Hang on, this technology here. I'm sorry. I hit I only see one person. I am so sorry.
I'm going to edit that out.
Edit this out. Now it's just one face, and I had all three of us.
The view should be at the top right. I've just got a noise out there.
You can cut that out, right?